Okay, Carlito, this is the aquaponics system that I built for Azure. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through this real quick, kind of show you what this is about. Here's some of the plants inside here that we're growing. I'll go over that, give you a quick tour. Okay, give you a rundown real quick. All right, so this is the system. So basically, you get this section right here. That's called your cinder beds or grow beds. That is called a siphon. It's a water siphon, and what that does is that transfers the water all into these float beds. And the reason they call them float beds is because these plants are basically floating in the air, and their roots, and these little ones is in the water. Okay, then you have the fish tank, which is set right underneath the grow beds. So basically, this is what happens. You go in fish tank. Okay, you get your tilapia. Cruising somewhere inside here. Yes, that's golden tilapia. And there's a water pump. So you feed the tilapia. Okay. And what happens is the water from the pump pumps the water into these cinder beds. As you can see. Okay, so these cinder beds, the reason we call them cinder is because they use cinder rock. Okay, and the reason they use this cinder rock is because it's porous. It has a lot of holes. So what it does is holds bacteria and air very well. Okay, so the cinder rock basically replaces soil. So it's like soil is growing, and yeah. so in this cinder rock, you can pretty much grow anything you can in regular dirt, as long as the nutrients is replaced. That's basically how it works. So we get some mint over here, some fresh mint. Okay, we get green onions that we just plant over there, and I guess as you're trying to plant aloe inside there, the mom's trying to plant aloe, or aloe, yeah. Then we have basil. Okay, we have some type of sweet. I don't know if it's sweet basil. We get celery. Okay, the celery pretty sharp. And we get Swiss chard. Okay, Swiss chard. We just did harvest a bunch of them. And you can see them. Swiss chard is one of those plants you keep cutting and I think keeps growing. It's called, I think it's an annual plant. Then we got some more celery. We got a little bit of sage right there. This is it's a low cholesterol spinach. This thing is really good. This thing grows like a vine. And you can just pull them off the plant. And it's ready to eat. We get some more basil. This is a lemon basil here. And got rosemary back there. The rosemary don't grow too good inside the system because it needs a little bit drier kind of ground. So as long as the root system of plants can handle moisture and like that moist kind of atmosphere, then the thing will grow really well. This vine we get inside here is on lilikoi. This thing will kind of blow up. So the reason we plant them, Azure wanted them for make pies and stuff like that, but also it does create a little bit shade for some of the plants that require less sunlight. So this is basically how the thing works. Oh, and in this bed over here we had carrots and the thing came out really sweet, really good. So how the system works is, like I said, that the water from the fish tank is pumped on small little pumps up that hose into the system. Now when the water reaches a certain height in these beds, what's going to happen is the water level is going to be the same exact height in this tub. So let's say the water level is right here inside the bed and inside this bucket. What will happen is there's a thing called in here called a siphon. It kind of looks like this. So when the water reaches the point where it's dumping into this hole, what's going to happen is it's going to trigger this siphon, and gravity somehow, I have no idea how, all I know it just works. Gravity allows it to pull all the water from this whole system. So all these beds are going to be filled the same height with water. And that plastic thing is going to allow all the water to be sucked out of that beds and into these float beds. And what's going to happen is the water is going to come out of here, fill up to here. These are all connected. And they're all going to rise to a certain level. And the level it's going to rise to is, you can see kind of where this vegetation line is. So right around here is the thing going to rise to. And what that's going to allow is that gonna allow to hit some of the roots, the baby starter roots, and just flush the water continuously through the system. The reason this is important is because you cannot have the water soaked in those beds, because some of the roots, what will happen is they'll wilt and it'll die because you're kind of like drowning the plants. So that is very important. What this siphon also does is it creates oxygen in the water, because when you get stagnant water, basically the oxygen in the water is depleted and plants need oxygen for die. So if their roots are in the water always needs to be consistently, circulated with oxygen, and that's what it does. The water sucks through, it breaks the surface of the water and creates oxygen to the whole system. Now when that's done, that comes back, so that comes back into the fish tank. So when it reaches a certain level, and it comes back into the system right through that pipe. So what that does, as you can see the bubbles, that creates oxygen for the fish. So no need air pump for the fish as of right now. But if that water pump die, then my fish might die. But that's okay. So that's what happened. That's basically the breakdown of what aquaponics is. Sorry, yeah. So yeah, so these, in this section right here, I'm gonna space out these plants a little bit more. So these big plants, because you kind of like give them a little bit room for growth. So we're gonna plant this on here, in this section. So we're gonna space them 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 3 rows that can give a 12 of these Swiss chard plants just on one board alone. If I would like plant a little bit more here, she can do that too. So it's kind of whatever she uses the most of. But yeah, so this is basically what the system is like. I built this whole thing. It's pretty easy. I mean, it's pretty easy to build, and it's really easy to maintain after you get the system really set up. Just gotta check them out every day, feed your fish, make sure the water levels, everything is cool, and that's it, right? You get plenty of different plants. We get some baby butterflies that grew here. We get some bees that come visit, pollinate the plants. A couple of baby dragonflies, pretty cool stuff. Oh, and the important thing is, when you get a fish tank, when the fish doo-doo, you gotta get the doo-doo out somehow, or not the fish gonna be swimming in their own doo-doo. And if anybody was to live or swim in their own doo-doo, they'll get sick, and you might mock it. Same thing with the fish. So what happens is, whatever is circulating in the tank gets sucked up through the pump and goes into this bed. Now this bed's what we use for eat the doo-doo. What is this cup doing inside here? Hello? Okay, that is not part of this system. Whose idea was that? And one more. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Okay, you're not supposed to have stuff that are just cruising inside your tank. Okay, but as you can see, right, I feel like focus, huh? Anything, man. Okay, wait, be patient, Tito, be patient. Okay. See them. Okay, we get worms inside here. So what the worms do is the worms will eat whatever like doo-doo that come out of that thing, because that's what worms do, composting worms. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna change that doo-doo into fertilizer. So that's what helps the fish from dying. Okay, ammonia. And also what we do is we put bottom feeders, small little fish like that small. They look like baby opal, and they swim around and eat all the food on the bottom of the tank. So that pretty much sums up everything you need to know about this aquaponic system. And sister, you grow one of this, you get one of this at your house. You don't gotta go buy organic stuff, you grow them right in your backyard. So yep, this is it, Carlito. Okay, aloha.